They're inside. Inside me.
The guys outside, they're just waiting for something. I don't know
In
what.
the bunker. Of course.
Oh, I forgot to take my
We have
bets.
lost objective Duff.
Fortress gun.
Yeah, one enemy on the fortress gun inside.
Impet this time.
Actually, big bunker.
Hi guys, this is Matthias and I'm coming at you here with another Battlefield 1 video about flying. And in this video I'm going to try as best as I can to explain maneuvering of especially the fighter plane, but of course this also to some degree applies to the attack plane and the bomber as well, even though those two planes handles a lot more slowly. Now, I play this game on PC. I'm using mouse and keyboard in order to control planes, and even though I know that, at least in some of the previous Battlefield games, it's very popular to use a joystick for PC gamer, that is something that I have never done. And since I know that some of the best players in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 were using joysticks, I'm also assuming that controlling and handling your plane is going to be rather easy if you are playing this game on one of the consoles. Either way, I hope that the information in this video is going to be useful for console players as well. So yeah, I actually went on an empty server here to try to explain this as best as I can. Now, let me first show you what I do with my right hand, which is my mouse hand. This is me turning my mouse to the left. And if I turn it far enough, I make this 360-degree roll. And this is me turning to the right or moving my hand to the right, which is, you know, the same thing, but roll in the other direction. Now, there are people that have key bindings for these types of rolls as well, using the keyboard for it. I just don't. Now, the most important key binding settings, in my opinion, is what I have set to spacebar. And in my case, it allows me to turn endlessly in a way that I believe is best described as pitch up. And obviously this is one of the things that is meant to resemble how it is to fly in real life. So yeah, combining these two things, holding spacebar and moving my mouse hand either left or right, I can make these rolls that a lot of people have actually asked me about how I do it. And it's actually rather easy, you know, when you're flying around like this on an empty server. Now, making use of this, benefiting from it, and getting kills while doing these kinds of maneuvers might actually take you a while, but hopefully you'll get it soon enough. So next up here, I'm going to show you my key bindings and my settings in-game, and I would say that some of the things that I have set up is something that I consider really, really important, while others is probably just a matter of taste, and there are, of course, also things that probably doesn't matter at all. So here we are in the options menu, and let me just go through some of my settings here. I'll explain the things that I find to be rather important. Now, I'm not in any way saying that I'm an expert at this or anything. Actually, in most games, I am rather thorough about this, and I make sure that I have the very best settings for my playstyle. But so far with, you know, my YouTube content and my streaming, I just haven't had the time yet. So anyway, first up, soldier mouse sensitivity. Now this I've set to 6%. The reason why I have it so low is because I'm just simply a low sense player. I want to move my hand from left to right 38 centimeters in order to make a 360-degree turn. And by having it on 6 and by having 600 DPI, that's what I get. Now 600 DPI might sound strange, but I had to set it for to 600 when I was playing Overwatch, because Overwatch just had really bad mouse sensitivity settings, and I couldn't get the settings that I wanted by having it on 400 or 800 DPI. And the next one here, vehicle mouse sensitivity, that's what's affected when I'm flying and being in tanks. And yeah, 10 is for flying, but for tanking, for example, it's way too low for me, and I have to change my DPI to 1200 whenever I enter a tank. I probably should have even higher DPI. I might change that in the future, actually. So now the next thing here that I consider important is invert vertical flight. I have that on, which is the very opposite from invert vertical look. And what that does is that when I move my hand away from me, which is the same thing as looking upwards with my soldier, my plane will also move upwards or tilt upwards or however you want to call it. And keep in mind that this is not default, so if you prefer to have it the same way as I do, you have to go in here and change it. Yeah, control schemes, that's for if you're playing with a controller, which I don't, so I don't even look at this. And in advanced, if you scroll down a bit, you come to some of the things that might be rather important for you. If you haven't already, you might want to decouple aiming from turning and see how it works for you. Now, if you don't like it, of course, you can just go back into your settings again and reset it. My gameplay settings looks like this. I've changed the colors quite a bit compared to the default, and I'm still not really convinced what colors I'm going to stick with. Don't be surprised if you see something very different in the near future. So now one of the things that I have changed is flight zoom radius, and if you are playing on default, it's probably going to say 250 here where it says 175 for me. Now I lowered this for the sake of the attack plane, and now that I'm flying mostly the fighter plane, I might actually switch that back. Now going to the advanced settings in gameplay, this is what it looks like for me. I've turned all these aim assist things off. I'm not even sure if it's related to PC and mouse and keyboard, but yeah, I turned it off and I haven't really spent much time thinking about it. So yeah, let's take a look at the basic video settings here, and there isn't all that much to say about it except for the fact that while I was going through this, I decided to move my field of view up a little bit just to try it out. So I'm going to get back to you on what I think about this in the future, but the reason why I changed it has actually nothing to do with the flying. It's something that has to do with close quarter combat, which I'm getting more and more into now that I'm playing Assault as my main. Now in the advanced video settings, you can see here I have basically everything to low. I have texture quality to medium because it looks a little bit nicer for you guys. But again, I'm not entirely sure how important these things are. See, one of the things that was important in Battlefield 3 and probably Battlefield 4 was this mesh quality. You had to set it to high or even ultra to be able to see people at very long distances, something that was, of course, very important for flying. Now, it seems to me that this doesn't matter all that much in Battlefield 1, but again, this is something that I might change in the future. So yeah, WSDA for, moving forward, slowing down, and left and right. And then the most important thing is pitch down, which for me is space. Now, the reason why I have it to pitch down, even though it actually pitches up, is of course because of the vertical flight settings. Now, out of all the settings that I have mentioned here, I think this is the most important one. And I know that there might be some people out there who are probably turning with moving their mouse, and yeah, you're gonna run out of mousepad quite quickly. Now, another key binding that is not nearly as important, but this is just personal preference. I've set enter exit vehicle to U, and that's only because when I press R, I sometimes accidentally press E, which is default, and I ended up bailing out of my aircraft several times, even though I didn't want to. So it's just for that reason. So yeah, obviously, once you have these settings, nothing can go wrong, and you will just own in the sky in every situation. Oh no! Fuck!
Return to the combat area.
So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, I hope it was helpful. My name is Mattias, and I want to thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
We have taken objective Charlie.
Boo.
Really? Alright, let's fuck shit up.
Let's fuck shit up.
Hype it up. Hype it up. Oh, tank. Fuck. Tank. Here kill my tank, guys? No. Okay.